Hello and welcome. Today you join me with the Audi S4 once again. If you haven't already seen the previous video where we used drone shots and flybys and did a launch, please do go and check that out. This is going to be about the pros and cons, so the best and the worst bits about this car, because there are some bad bits, but there are also a lot of really good bits. So please join me in the video. This brings me onto the top 3 things I hate about my car. And number 1 is Apple Carplay, because sometimes you can plug this in and it just doesn't come up on the screen. It's not buzzed to say that it's actually been plugged in and say that it's charging. It's not come up to play any music, and it's quite frustrating, especially when you just want to get going. But at other times you can just plug it in and it works. And it's saying it's charging and it comes up there. The second thing that really bugs me is that it's such a rattly car. It just, all of it just rattles. It's like even the seatbelts, they're so loose. It's quite frustrating. All of this is quite solid in the centre. You're driving along and what you need is to hire somebody to sit there with their arm on the armrest, because this one's not so bad. But this one just rattles constantly when you play music, like all the time. These alloys really aren't the sportiest, and there is a massive arch gap. It's a sports car. What is this? However, these 3 bad points do bring me on to 5 good points, because this car is amazing. The interior looks brilliant. These super sport seats, which are heated and they massage, only on the front 2, granted, not the rear, which is a shame, but these seats are really nice. The interior itself looks great. It's, like I said a minute ago, a bit creaky, but apart from that, it looks so nice. It's really nice and open. It's not that cluttered. It's got a very basic centerpiece here, which is where you control all of your heating from. There's also this screen here. I think it's like 10.6 inches. I will put the right measurement up. But this screen is kind of stuck on there, and it is kind of out the way enough that it's not in your face, but it's also the centre of attention. You've got this sweeping brushed aluminium running the whole way through out towards the doors, and it just feels really premium. You've got the Quattro badge, which is kind of random, but it's stuck on there to remind you that you're not going to die in a snowstorm. You then have this flat bottom steering wheel, which is just so Audi, so sport. It looks really nice. I've put these paddles on because the original paddles were a bit small, which just means that when you're going around, you're driving, it's a bit easier to reach. But it looks really nice, really sporty. You've got all of this centre console piece here, and underneath you've got the Audi Drive Select. You've got the automatic start stop on and off button, you've got the ESP button, and you've got your parking sensors and a switch to switch on and off the screen. You've then got the 12 volt, and you've got this start stop engine button, which makes you feel like you're in some kind of rocket. All you'll do is press the brake, switch it on, and it comes to life. What I also like is the fact that this gear selector is just so small, so easy. I've seen some of these cars that have got these automatic sticks. They look just like a manual, and it's just not right. It should be small, nice, and keeps it all really low here, because this is so spacious and it's just a brilliant place to be in. You've got this central scroller here, which is connected to this screen, and you can sort out your maps from here, for example, and you can go along and you can type in wherever you want to go. You can switch to destination entry, and you can actually do it like a touchpad, which is great for me because I'm left-handed. So I can go to somewhere S-O-M somewhere W-H oh no. Ampersand. Ampersand? What the f is an ampersand? Somewhere with without COVID. A diphthong. Oh what? Anyway. Delete. Space. Delete. It's very good and it works really well. I do wonder sometimes whether this and this should have been switched, because you're not always using the gear selector, but you do tend to always be using this piece here. So it's like, should it have been switched around the other way? Because then you can rest your arm here and you can scroll through the menus, you can scroll through the radio and CDs. Maybe that could have been thought out a bit better. But apart from that, there's no real complaints. You've got everything that you need. This now leads me on to another thing that I love, which is the virtual cockpit. It is just brilliant. You've got so many different things you can do with it. You can check through all of your memories, such as not your actual memories. You can look at the long-term averages when it comes to your fuel consumption. You can look at driver assist, you can look at your energy consumers, and it tells you, which I don't like to know because I want my heated seat on, I don't want to know how much fuel it's burning. But it does tell you that. Air conditioner, right seat heating, mirror heating, and it tells you how many litres an hour of fuel that you are using. Then you've got your short-term memory, long-term memory consumption as of now. Then you can go across and it tells you all of your warnings, such as, like now, please add washer fluid, so I know to do that. And it stores them there until you've done it. Then you've got your FM, you can scroll through your radio, which you can also do on this if you want to, but obviously if you're driving along you might want to keep it a bit more here, a bit more involved. Then you can scroll across again, you've got your directory, so you've got all of your phone numbers ready to go right there. Then one more over and you've got your sat nav. In the centre I've got the dial, which is just right in my face now, so that I know exactly what speed I'm doing and how much I'm revving, because that's the easiest way for me to see it. You can have it either side like this, and it spreads them out and it keeps the sat nav in the middle if that is the setting you're on, or the trip, and it's just like a little mini computer that you can just keep an eye on. Then on the steering wheel you've got all the other little bits and bobs. I must admit, I've just noticed that that badge doesn't look great. I don't know what it is with Audis and their badges in their steering wheels. They tend to go crappy pretty quickly. So you've got everything here. You've got obviously indicator, wipers. You've got your cruise control, which I very rarely use, to be honest. Maybe on longer journeys, but it is there. And then you have all of these little bits and bobs. Telephone, sat nav. Got a little star, little asterisk, which you can kind of put to whatever you want. Mine, if you click it, it goes to the Audi Drive Select, so you can quickly just nip through those. Now, talking generally about the car, you've got to say that the allure of the S4 is the fact that it's not that much slower than the RS4. You don't have to pay for RS4 costs, such as the different body panels, because it shares a lot with the A4 itself. So you don't have to pay for the RS4 servicing, the RS4 repairs, the RS4 maintenance. And you've got this, what is a very quick car on the road, for expensive A4 money, rather than cheap RS4 money. So I think it's a car that, on the long term, I think is a great compromise. The Audi Drive Select's pretty cool. You can switch through all of these different things, such as efficiency, comfort, auto, dynamic and individual. I tend to just leave it in dynamic because it just makes sense. Dynamic sport mode, and you just got that power whenever you need it. Put your foot down. In the other ones I feel like it's a little bit slow to react. You put your foot down, it's a bit of a lag time, and to me, when I put my foot down is when I want to go. So I have it in dynamic sport mode. I'm not worried about the running costs. I just go for it and make the most of owning the car.
The final thing I'm going to talk to you about today is the boot space, because obviously it's an event. So my granddad's kind of coming along on a little tractor. Just gonna. This is so typical. He looks so content. Sawdust? Sawdust? So my last positive point that I'm going to make about the Audi S4 is obviously got to be about the boot, because it's an event, it's ideal. All we've got to do is not that. So all you've got to do is hold down the bottom button on this key and the boot opens up. It's ideal. This comes off automatically, so does the luggage compartment concealer, that's what we're going to call it. And then obviously you've got all your stuff in the back here. Then all you've got to do is put it down. Nice and simple. It's got plenty of space. It's got 505 litres with the seats up, and it's got some 60/40 seats that go down, and they take it up to 1510 litres. So it's plenty big enough, and it's perfect for what I need, which looks like it's an old suitcase and a Henry Hoover.